Good morning and welcome to Master Trader, where you can learn to use simple market and stock analysis to make money investing and trading. I'm Greg Capra. Let's see where these markets are going today. So let's start with the S&P here, the spiders. And here was the move down into a little area of support. And what we see happen is that buyers continue to step up on the dips. Look at the gap. This is a gap down day. This is a gap down day. Gapped up and came in, and yesterday prices gapped down. And each time they gap down, buyers step up. However, they're not making a lot of advancement here. They've gotten up to the 50 MA. That's the green line right here. So the S&P's kind of at an inflection point, and they're up a little bit here pre-market, and we'll take a look at what's going on right there. But notice the transports here. They're really underperforming. They can't get going. Sometimes they do that and then play catch up. That's something we're going to have to take a look and see if that's what occurs. But when the transports underperform, it's one of the tea leaves, if you will, that gives us some guidance into what's happening in the markets and whether any advancement in, say, like the S&P is suspect. The S&P isn't getting very far, so it isn't that much of a divergence. Now, the Russell is outperforming for a change, and it broke above this resistance area, and it has the look like it can continue to move up. You want to watch this closely today to see if it can advance or whether it has an inside day. What it actually does here. Do we get some additional confirmation of breaking through this resistance area? The Qs here just trading within last week's high and last week's low. So really neutral. It's a day-to-day. Overall, this big whippy pattern here is beginning to consolidate and contract in volatility, and that is historically what does happen over time, and then we'll see which way prices move one way or the other. So from this time frame here, you really don't have setups with high probabilities to trade. Now, let's see what else is moving here in the markets, and we'll take a look at what's happening intraday. I sort of mentioned here because Bitcoin is in the news a little bit again. It was down. Regulators suggesting maybe that it has to now, be under their thumb, which is a big negative, of course, but it's holding up relatively well. And we're starting to get some data now in the futures, and volume is starting to pick up day to day, the activity in there. But now we have a 50-period moving average. And notice how it was right in alignment with the prior high. That's how you want to use your moving averages that are widely followed. Are they in alignment with some resistance? Now, what's happening is that it's beginning to form a little bit of a range here. And let's take a look at that. So now we've got swing highs in place. And we do have a swing low here, so the question is whether it continues to make a range in this area. Do buyers want to step up where they did before and push it back up and possibly higher? Or if it hangs out here for several days and cannot advance, that is going to be a warning sign that prices are likely to then drop lower. So just as a master trader technical strategies concept, when prices reach an area of support and they do not advance, or they advance very little, they go sideways, then when they break the low, that's a short signal looking for prices to drop lower. Okay? Let's take a look at where the futures are at here, since we do get a 24-hour chart, and we see that there really isn't much follow-through this morning in the S&P futures. And let's take a look at the intraday time frame. And if you remember, if you go back and look at the video on this day, I pointed out, look out for a breakout bar failure in this area. You had the wide range bar coming out of this base here, the inside bar, and I said a break under that low is going to be a short-term sell signal. And we had this break lower. Some news of White House staff leaving, whoever that was, and big yawn in the end. Buyers said, who cares? Let's buy the market again. We always buy the market and it goes up. And now it's continued to move up, grinding up to the area of that prior high. So just like as prices move lower and we want to see the reaction to that support, here we're going to take note of the reaction to this resistance. So if it can go sideways here for a little while, I mean, it's absorbing that supply, that would be a bullish signal. And then we see if it continues to move higher in alignment with that bottoming tail bar from yesterday. So that was the gap down, and then the buyers stepped up. It's that resistance. So now what we want to see is it can go sideways a bit and then see if it pushes higher through the 50 MA to attack this old high. All right. NASDAQ futures pushing up into the resistance. They're actually pushing up a little higher here above the bottoming tail bar, and they do look like they're going to come up to attack the old highs over there. The Dow, which has been underperforming, continues to underperform. It's not even close to the, the breakout bar failure area from that day, and it's not able to get going here. So something to keep in mind when you have other broader market indices where you, especially one like the Dow, is underperforming and not advancing. The Qs are pretty much going it on its own again. So you have, the internet stocks, which I'll change in the upper left-hand chart there. We can move this down. Internet stocks breaking out and pushing up. It's technology again. Software, pushing up to make new all-time highs, while you have financials doing nothing, you have transports doing nothing. So it is a stock picker's market, and markets come in that way versus alignment of many broader markets in moving together, and you can throw a dart and make money. Take a look at the regional banks. KRE, look at the stocks within that. There's some good performers within there, and this is pushing up to a new high, as you can see. So you have to go through and do the work and find what's moving, what's not, and that is trading and investing. At times it is easier than others. Other times it's more difficult, as it is right now. Good trading, everyone. We'll talk again soon.